And we have three more speakers who are going to talk about their contribution. Maria Campolago, State Secretary for Digitization in Portugal. Sir, please come and take a seat. Geneviève Pons, General Director of the Jacques Delors Institute in Brussels. Geneviève, welcome. Please take a seat. And Catherine Chabot, Member of the European Parliament. Please take a bonjour, bonjour. And I believe that John Bell most probably would like to come and give the concluding remarks. There we are. Indeed, and you can practice your French, and I would love to do this in French to show that I can speak French, but we're going to do it in English. Thank you very much. Well, let's hear about the support that you're going to give to this mission. Mario Campolago, State Secretary for Digitization in Portugal, the floor is yours.
Muito boa tarde a todos. Je crois que je dois dire aussi quelques mots en français, alors je suis enchanté de vous avoir ici. Good afternoon to everybody and to all the participants. I'd like to start once more to welcome all of you in Lisbon and in Portugal on behalf of the Portuguese government. Welcome to the country that loves the oceans. This conference, I think, has been and is really an exceptional opportunity to reflect and take actions, putting the focus on innovative and science-driven solutions for reversing the ocean's decline, or using the words, the motto of this EU mission, to restore our ocean and waters. Well, this is actually, as it was proved during this event, a multi-dimensional challenge that actually calls for large partnerships, guided, and I would like to refer this word very strongly, by inspirational cooperation, as we could see right now in the last panel. And literally needs to get the best of our countries and our regions in Europe. Now, what I would like to bring today to you is this message. Portugal presents itself as a major actor in this endeavor. First, the engagement of Portugal in hosting this conference and driving its conclusions and the Declaration of Lisbon, the announcement by our Prime Minister in the first day that we will organize again a similar conference next year, but also our investments in blue economy, show really the drive and the commitment of the Portuguese government. Second, the reality is indeed that if we look to the ocean, in particular the Atlantic Ocean, one of the largest portions of the ocean bath is in fact the coasts of Portugal, be it in our continental platform or in Azores, in Madeira, where actually we do significant investments in preserving the ecosystems. A third element that was here so well personified by Inés was actually that our civil society is aware of the challenges and admirably engaged. And last but not least, our economic actors and research institutes created what I would call a very significant pool of talent and technology and knowledge, have made a lot of innovative investments in clean energy, in advanced technology solutions, in areas like biotechnology, and all of that positions Portugal as a leading country in this so-called blue economy. But some of you will wonder why a Secretary of State for Digitalization and Modernization of Administration is here closing this event. It's because Portugal has another parallel ambition in the domain of digital, to reinforce our position as a digital nation, to become even more clearly a startup nation, building an ecosystem of digital innovators, attracting investment based on a clear strategy of fixing talent, competences and knowledge. And this includes the oceans domain. So our investments and strategy, we believe, positions Portugal as a leading country to address the challenge of the oceans in particular, obviously, of the Atlantic Ocean, that is so important in the context of the Lighthouse Atlantic and Arctic coast. And this, from our point of view, highlights the importance of creating a digital twin of the Atlantic Ocean. This is an endeavor where Portugal is really ready to take a very prominent role, mobilizing assets at the level, for example, of high-performance computing, competencies in areas like data analytics or artificial intelligence, and involving state-of-the-art knowledge and practices in the relevant entrepreneurial and scientific ecosystems. I believe very personally that, and I hope that so many of you will share my belief, that digital twins are actually an essential instrument to take evidence-based decisions and policies. And therefore it is very essential that we collect, we process, and we extract knowledge from a wide set of ocean data sets related to species, climate, habitats, restoration processes, social and economic activities, etc. But above all, that we are able to make such knowledge available to academics and policymakers, but also to entrepreneurs and the citizens in general. So, my short message: Portugal has ocean in its DNA. That's very clear, since a long, long, long time. But it has the competencies, the talent, the science and technological solutions, and a very innovative and collaborative spirit that makes us the ideal partner to build the digital twin of the Atlantic. Thank you very much for your attention. Merci bien.
Thank you very much, State Secretary, for making the argument about the digital twin and the DNA of Portugal in the ocean. Geneviève Pons, General Director of Jacques Delors Institute in Brussels. Your thoughts and support for this mission to restore the health of our oceans, seas and waters by 2030.
Thank you very much. Well, I'm here also because the president of the mission was not able to be there, Pascal Lamy. We have worked very well together.
One of the most big leaders.
No, I know. I'm not just replacing him, but I'm really glad to mention him because, for instance, on the subject of the digital twin of the ocean, he has been very, very engaged. So just to tell that there are many people here who have been a member of this mission and who have, with me, Pascal, John, I will not quote all the names, I see Maria Cristina, that they have been enthusiastic about it. And this is something which needs to be mentioned when one speaks about missions. Because missions have been designed to mobilize people. What is a mission? It is something which has to be very ambitious and to mobilize not only public authorities, not only researchers, but the whole society. So this is an experience that I have had with Pascal Lamy and the rest of the mission, and I will tell you the way I see it. I have chosen 3 S: silos, which have to be broken; science, which has to be shared and put in action; and society, which has to be mobilized. And I will come back on that. As I said, a mission is something that will mobilize not only public authorities and searchers, but the whole society. And the charter is designed in a way to put this in action in local, regional, national levels. And the example of this one, which will be very much about the coastal problem due to rising sea level, you will have the possibility to put all the existing expertise together at local level, at cities level, from scientists, from NGOs, and also the financing. Somebody has spoken in a very eloquent manner about public-private partnership and the need to mobilize finance for that. So that's the first S. Break silos, put all competencies together. But second S, science. We need science to take the right decision, to evaluate the situation, to evaluate the risk, to put the right priorities in motion. And as you have said, we need to share. We need to share data. And this is something that has been underlined by this mission. We are, from the beginning, envisaging a digital twin with data that will be shared. Probably not all data. We will have to enter into more details at a certain stage. But it is not only shared, it's also the possibility for citizens to cooperate and to participate, to themselves bring data to build the digital twin, because we will need a lot of data to face the challenges that we are confronted with. So we have already, in the mission, we have evoked it. We have applications that exist in Europe and that have been recognized by, for instance, the European Environment Agency, that will allow citizens to take part of this science. And finally, society. So NGOs have been very present in the mission. Myself, I have an experience as a former head of WWF European office. And at a certain moment, I was asked to chair a contact group with NGOs inside the mission. And the NGOs were very supportive. Actually, they were the first to come with, it was during the first meeting, public meeting of the mission in September 2019, they were the first to come with the central objective of the mission, which places the level of ambition where it has to be placed, restoration. So this was their first, comment dire, first thing they brought to us. Second, the systemic approach. Monica has intervened, I think, a bit earlier, and it was Seas at Risk that brought this systemic approach to us with their Blue Manifesto. And then the board and the assembly worked, and we ourselves have designed our own vision of this systemic approach with the famous Starfish. The Starfish has been a bit forgotten, but it's a way to understand that you have a central objective, restoration, and 5 branches that contribute to them, science, governance, fight against pollution, protection, and sustainable blue economy. We have interviewed citizens all over Europe, and I will leave you with just 2 simple ideas. They are really hurt by the state of the ocean and waters. That's the first point. But second point, they want to be useful. They want to participate. So we have to build on this willingness of citizens to participate. That's why I will stop here, but just remind silos, science, society. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the 3 S's, breaking the silos, sharing the science, and getting the citizens involved. Catherine Chabot, French member of the European Parliament, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and thank you for your welcome. And I'm often very happy when I come in Portugal. You know, as a former sailor, the first time I'm not a young one. The first time I used to skip, alors comment on dit ça en anglais, to be the captain, as a captain on a boat with an all-formal crew. It was in 1988 for a race between Nantes and Lisbon. And it was the first time I went in Portugal, and it's very amazing when you discover a country by the sea. And I have this chance to discover probably a lot of the main ports in Europe by the sea. Venice, La Valette, Barcelona, Lisbon, and also London, Rotterdam, Amsterdam, Copenhagen, Helsinki, Stockholm, all those harbor. I had this chance because there were a race in the early 90s that was a race around Europe, and our flag was the European flag. So probably if I feel so a member of Europe, it's probably because and thanks to this race. And I'm here as a member of European Parliament, but also as a big supporter of the Starfish mission. I am like like Geneviève. I like very much this name, Starfish mission. Of course, restore oceans, seas, and waters. But I'm a big supporter because, and if I took this mandate in the European Parliament, it's because I wanted to try to find solutions to accelerate the awareness on the ocean, because I think citizens still don't understand how ocean is important for them. And when I discovered the mission, I understood that it was the approach, the systemic approach you were speaking about, this idea to the link between land and sea, this idea to cut the silos and to have a systematic approach that is already in our maritime integrated policy, but we have to find solutions to much more to accelerate it, and we need. It's not the topic tonight, but it needs to be. We need to enhance the European governance of the sea in the Commission, in the Parliament, in the Council. It's not the topic today. Tonight, tonight, it's not tonight. This afternoon. And today is I'm very happy today as well because we are presenting the Charter, and also because today is the last day for France to lead the Europe, the Council, to chair the Council of Europe, and we were we have to apologize with Geneviève. We were with President Macron just near here. And with Peter Thompson, and it was an amazing moment. And I'm very proud that France and Costa Rica decided to organize the next UN conference in France, or I don't know where, in 2025. We both and in Costa Rica as well. So I have to speak, and I'm very happy to speak about the Charter. But I've written, but it's on my iPhone. And I have to put my glasses. Sorry. Now we are at the moment to implement the Starfish mission. So the priority now, in my view, is to highlight the most relevant actions that can be submitted under the Charter to implement the mission's objectives. All actors must be mobilized, and it has been already said, of course, elected politicians, member states, regions, and local authorities, the scientific community or the stakeholders, of course, the NGOs, all the citizens. As a member of European Parliament, I am committed to working hand in hand with our citizens and this issue that concerns us all, and to do so in a collaborative, shared and transparent manner. As an elected politician, I am aware of the power but also of the responsibility I have to enshrine in law the major actions of tomorrow, and I know that this work cannot be done without the participation of all. You know that in the implementation of the Green Deal, we are working on the Fit for 55. We voted a lot of text, and we will have some other. And for example, I'm trying to push for the creation of an ocean fund under the ETS regulation, and its extension to the maritime. That is why I'm calling first for action at the local level. And I would like to invite all the citizens to implement actions at local level as concrete contributions to the implementation of the mission. And I would like to share with you an example. The blueprint mission that we have launched under, the initiative I've launched 4 years ago, the recognition and this notion of ocean as a global common. And it's amazing because all the young people we are working with and who are very committed in this in the Ocean as Common initiative, they had the idea of a blueprint mission. And blueprint is a method of accelerating the preservation of water and aquatic ecosystem in a given area through the concerted actions and commitment of those who live there, citizens, companies, local authorities, scientists, associations, etc. And because we have just one ocean, because we need to protect it, and because we are trying to raise the awareness of the necessity to restore and the awareness of our own, our individual and collective responsibility. So since 1 year, we have launched this blueprint 1 year ago, and it works. The community of people who are committed on ocean restoration is growing, and it's very. And I think it's my word to the Commission that probably those people will answer to the call of the Charter. And thank you to all the team of the Commission, John Bell, Ziggy, and all the people you had in your board for this beautiful mission. It's too long. Yeah, I will conclude. I didn't say that this blueprint initiative has been launched in the south of Brittany. With a community of ACTA. ACTA, it's Oreille-Quiberon Terre Atlantique. And I will give you probably news, I hope, if we succeed in to restore our water there, because they are completely impacted by land pollutions, etc. So it's a huge challenge. Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup aussi. And thank you. I think we felt your passion for the ocean as a skipper and now as a parliamentarian who are advocating for the oceans to be protected. So now I would like to give the concluding words to John Bell, who's been mentioned throughout the afternoon, the Deputy Mission Manager of the mission Restore Our Oceans and Waters. John, are you know, you can't stand at the podium because there is a... or would you like to... there is a microphone for you.
If you don't mind, I'd like to stand up.
Yes.
I've been sitting down all day, and I think it's time we all felt like we are actually standing up. We're standing up for the oceans. We're standing up for something which is, I think what Europe does best is the slightly improbable. When we started off in our journey as a European Union, the idea of peace through making coal and steel or building a secure market with food for everybody, or when the wall came down, that we'd somehow managed to peacefully reunite the continent. Improbable, inspirational, possible. And I think that's what we're facing with our main life support system. Whether people get it, that their futures will decide on what happens in the next few years in getting our main life support system back into shape or not, is not really here or there. We must do our best to do that. What we need to make sure is that we can actually change the context, which was Jean Monnet's great inspirational idea. If you cannot resolve the problems and the framing, you change the context. And that's the challenge that we're facing. Now, we're all coming to conferences for years talking about the knowledge gaps, and we need to mobilize, we need organizations, we need a voice. I see it and hear it. I've been listening to extraordinary organizations here right across the array, from people who are out there mobilizing citizens to people doing very complex work on data and microbiology, mapping, modeling, prediction, and so forth. We know enough. We know enough. So now we need to do something practical. And the missions were conceived to create a space that could be inspirational, that could react to the scale of the systemic problems that we have with speed, with scale, and with buy-in of the people who are going to have their lives changed by these changes that are coming. We talk about citizen engagement and all kinds of things. There's an amazing project in Portugal in the Algarve where they worked with the fishermen and the fisheries community in terms of working through why would a marine protected area work for them. If you think about the people who first have to be convinced about the changes that we need to make on the ground, that's front and center to what we're doing. So the mission isn't ours. I mean, Pascal and Geneviève and all our colleagues, I see many of you here, you've done an absolutely extraordinary job. My own colleagues in DG RTD and Mare and other DGs who worked all the way through the last couple of years, because they're so committed and passionate to trying to do something that's improbable, which is to change, reverse the course of what's happening in our main life support system in this decade of decision while there's still some time. So my conclusion over the last period is that we are running out of time. We were sure as hell not running out of ideas, and we're not running out of the political will, the financial will. You hear our colleagues from investment, from the philanthropic communities, of social capital to make something spectacular happen. Okay, that's the talk. So what happens next? The missions are designed for you to take the missions, to go to your sea basin, your lighthouse, and to work out in terms of the objectives. It's very concrete, and they're concrete because they're linked to the refit that the European Union has just done to all its legislation, including last week, in law, we're proposing nature restoration targets, in law. So what each of the Arctic, this is the Atlantic Arctic Lighthouse. It's not a project or a program. It's a space where you are being convened today. The Charter's purpose is not to give you all a piece of paper to go home with. The Charter is an invitation, it's a mobilization, it's a challenge to you and all the people that you know in this space. If you're in the Atlantic Lighthouse and you look at these goals, protect a minimum of 30% of the EU sea area and integrate ecological corridors, strictly protect at least 10%, and contribute to what have now been put into law, marine restoration targets, at least 20% of the areas that are most in need of restoration, at least, and then all of the restoration that has to be done by 2050, one by 2030, one 2050. That's in law. It's going to the Parliament, and I'm sure you'll have many colleagues who will cheer and welcome it in, Catherine. There'll be quite a discussion around that. This is the next step, but this is for you. What we will do is we will mobilise the resources and the networks, and the mission board will be reconfirmed to look at implementation. There'll be €1 billion, there'll be research programmes, investment programmes, all of that. But it's only, they're enabling conditions, the framework. The mission is a mission if you take ownership and the people you work with take ownership. And you go to your lighthouse, your sea base, and you say, right, what does my ecosystem, my community, where I live, whoever I am, how can we contribute to this? The charter, which will also have a means to, in due course, add up the commitments that people want to make. It's a means for people to be part of this. So those of you in the room, you're all from very powerful parts of our society and our economy. So we will be looking for real commitments. We're not looking for people to turn up with pledges of this or that. Here is something that we think can actually make this happen in the sea basin. So what we will do as the next step, we're going to convene, and Mario and the Secretary of State earlier on, I mean, this is very important. The political leadership we've seen here this afternoon, the Foreign Minister of Ireland, we've had the Mayor in Italy, we've had all kinds of people saying, we get this, we want this to work, we're not quite sure how it will work, but count us in, give us a go. So you are all missionaries now. It's your mission, it's not our mission. Our job is to get it moving. You need to look at it, you need to see what it is in the work that you do, where maybe there's one or two really big things. They need to be inspirational, they need to have an impact, they need to be scalable, and they need to be social. They need to have an impact and a benefit for the people that are working there. And we all have lots of other areas, and we do great things in all the other areas. But this is about moving the lever, things that people will start to believe, we've got this, we can do this, we can actually transform our economy in the coastal areas of Europe, which is where the poorest and most exposed people are living, they're most worried. We can do something to actually transform coastland, wetlands, grasslands, whatever it is on the Atlantic shelf, whichever part of the ecosystem you want to restore, that we can do. Mario was there talking, and he was absolutely right. We called them missions in the beginning with Pascal and others because we wanted the idea of the moonshot back in the 60s, something slightly improbable, getting to the moon and back, outer space. This is inner space. This is our inner space race. And the DTO, we can see it as a bunch of wires and programs and AI and lots of digital people talking to themselves and so forth and doing wonderful things. Or we can see this as Cape Canaveral, that we go from Copernicus in the air to Nautilus in the sea, and we create the capacity to navigate what has to come ahead. And I would say on that, I mean, we will institutionally organize ourselves with those who are working the digital twin of the ocean, with Mercator and the member states and so forth to get this working. But my mission spirit in that would be the first proof points in the digital twin of the ocean should be user inspired. They should be designed so that what we need to do first, what do we need to do first? Spatial planning, ecosystems awareness, that they're designed around giving us what we need to make the mission happen. And then there's a mobilization, and your space program, your inner space program, the DTO, can take place. So this is a critical point. This could be just a good research program where there's a few decent projects, or it could be a turning point. You decide on that. You need to go and communicate to your communities what this is about. And it's not created. We haven't decided what happens in the lighthouses. We have objectives, we have programs, we have the means. We need to see is next year, within the next year, can we have in each of the lighthouses a political mobilization? So ministers, regions, whoever the actors are, to convene in each of the lighthouses and go, okay, we're going to bring what we've got to this, and here are a few big ticket things that we're doing or are planning to do, and we'll mobilize and do that. Can we organize things in a way that we start thinking about where would the economic benefit be for the people who are living in these sea basins, so that we don't pick things that are of interest to us, but the people we're trying to convince about the transition that's ahead will see, hang on a second, I think somebody was talking earlier on about the blue biotech and alternative proteins in different ways. There's lots of things will allow fishing and coastal communities to earn their living in different ways in the future. Could we maybe have one spectacularly inspiring large scale, it doesn't have to be large scale in one place, but ambitious and large scale solution in each of the lighthouses, at least discussed and known within a year? And we'll organise it, we'll support it, the team and the colleagues in RTD and Mari and the people on the board and everybody else, and the CSAs and all the complicated words we use for the support projects that we have. We'll organise and support it. But you need to take it away. You need to go back. You need to mobilise and say, this is a once-in-a-generation chance. There's €1 billion there which can leverage and change things. And even if it only makes a bit of a difference, but in some places the chances can make a real difference. So you're the missionaries now. I was inspired when we were talking about the, by the way, I agree, Genevieve, about the Starfish, lighthouses. We should never have cancel culture applied to invertebrates. That's pushing it a bit far. So the starfish should be allowed to breathe again, as it were. So we're at this point. In all the other aspects of our lives, we have to do things in the regular way. The mission is an opportunity for people to go, what if we organised here and we tried to do this? Something which would really inspire people in terms of saying, you know something, maybe we do have a future. Maybe we could actually do something here. And as I always say, science has a different responsibility at this moment in time. We're the only civilization that understands our dilemma and understands what the means are to solve our dilemma. And the moment is shifting. So science has to give, as I say, courage to politics, which politics needs at the moment, because they need to have confidence in transitions. We have these walls of money, the recovery program, you know, tens of trillions and billions of dollars floating around. You know, Horizon Europe is small in comparison. People are going to have to make decisions. It's like looking at the Industrial Revolution at the beginning of the 1800s, being told you need to have big cities with factories and all. They're being asked to do transition by design. So science has to give confidence to transition, courage to politics. It has to give hope to people. People are becoming hopeless. My children's generation are kind of going, have you got this? The scientists, they don't, the politicians of today, but they expect the people like us in the scientific community that we've got it. It has to give hope, so courage to politics, hope to citizens, opportunity to innovation, and respite to nature. Our peace process, our mission, the European Union's task for the next 30 years is to make peace with nature. Let's start here. Thanks.
Well, thank you. And I think it just is left to me to say that there's a networking cocktail and there's the address. So I'm sure that many of the inspirational speeches, presentations that you've heard today, you might want to go up to those speakers and ask them many more questions than we've had time from. But thank you very much to our remote audience and also for those of you in Lisbon who've been joining us for this very, very special event. Thank you.